Yo, if you're into fitness online, or if you just want to find a quick tip for a workout, then you probably heard of Jeff Nipard. Known for his controversial takes and for his optimized workouts, you can basically guarantee that everything he has is backed up by at least 5 different studies. At the beginning of this year, he released a series of 3 different videos, a push-pull leg workout split of the best workouts for 2025. So today, I'm going to be going through that workout routine at my local gym, and I'm going to be taking you along with me. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, I'd really appreciate that. Enjoy the video. Alright, so the very first exercise in the push day is going to be the basic bench press.
This is my push day based on science and experience. First exercise is the bench press. Because it's a hypertrophy day, I'm using a smaller arch and pausing on my chest on each rep. Even though hypertrophy heads usually go for machines or dumbbells, I still love the bench press and I think it's a great chest builder.
Okay, so that was definitely harder with the same weight that I usually do. I think the 2-second pause at the bottom definitely fatigues me a lot more. So I'm going to drop the weight a little bit so I can hit the 8 reps. Right, next exercise I'm doing, I'm moving on to the machine shoulder press. I usually do dumbbells where my top weight is 50 pounds, but I don't really know what it is on this one. However, in Jeff Nipard's video, he does 12 to 15 reps, which is a pretty decent amount of volume. So I'm going to drop the weight just a little bit so I can hit that 12 to 15 rep range. But again, I don't really like machines because you have a fixated path range of motion, whereas with dumbbells it's more forgiving, more free. However, like he said in the video, I can push it to failure a lot safer on the machine, so I'm definitely going to be doing that.
Next, it's a machine shoulder press. I like the machine here because on my last set, I can really push my delts all the way to failure without needing to worry about stabilization.
Alright, next exercise, moving on to the pec deck. In his video, he also does 12 to 15 reps, which is, again, a lot of volume for me. So I had to drop the weight a little bit so I can hit that rep range. This one, he said to focus on the stretch because the bench press obviously doesn't give that good of a stretch. So just going to bring it in, nice normal, and then take the stretch a lot slower.
After that, it's the pec deck. Because the bench press doesn't give the best stretch, make sure you go as deep as you can here.
For my next set, I'm going to increase the weight just a little bit because 55 pounds is a little bit on the lighter side. I just wasn't sure I wanted it to be safe. However, I do kind of like this a lot better than having heavier weight doing less reps. Moving on to cable lateral raises, Jeff Nipard's big thing is to have the cable at about your waist height. That way you get a bigger stretch when you actually push outwards. This is what I do anyways, so it's not really that much of a difference for me. I know you use my normal weight. However, he also wanted to do, I think it said 10 to 12 or 10 to 15 reps. So that's usually my normal range. So for me, this is just a basic normal exercise that I would do anyways. However, he does emphasize making sure you scoop outwards instead of just trying to raise the cable up as high as possible.
Then I hit a high cable lateral raise. Focus on scooping the weight out. I think about pushing the cable away from my body rather than lifting the cable up.
So I'm supposed to do 3 sets of this. Obviously it's gonna be 6 sets because you gotta do each arm individually, and then that'll be all for shoulders. Alright, now moving on to triceps, I'm doing an overhead tricep extension of anywhere between the 5 to 10 rep range. I already do this in my normal routine anyways, and I do about 8 reps. So this is basically, once again, just a normal exercise for me. But I absolutely love how this feels.
Then 2 exercises for the triceps. An overhead cable extension with heavier weight.
Now, I'm of course not going to go until failure until the last set, but this one gets my triceps really pumped. And ever since I've implemented this, I've noticed my triceps have been growing a lot more than they have been otherwise. And then the very last exercise could be a tricep cable kickback, which I've literally never done these before. But going anywhere between 8 to 12 rep range. I guess I'm doing this right. I mean, to me, this is basically just a normal cable push down. You're just doing it isolated to one arm.
And a cable triceps kickback with lighter weight.
Alright, and then that's the last exercise for push day. So I just finished with Jeff Nipard's push workout. Overall, it was a really solid workout. I was in there for maybe an hour and 20 minutes, which he always says that your workout shouldn't take more than an hour, so maybe I was like resting too long between each set or something like that. But overall, I give it like a 9 out of 10. That was really solid. I do miss having incline bench press in there, but I can always just add that or swap it out for, let's say, the pec deck exercise. But my pump, as you can see on the screen right here, was also pretty solid. My shoulders and my chest, of course, which were the two main parts that were hit, was pretty pumped up. And the pump rating, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. But yeah, that was a really solid workout, and I'll see you tomorrow for pool day. Alright, it is day 2 of Jeff Nipard's workout split. Today I'm doing a pull day. So I'm starting off with the first exercise that he said in his video, which is a close grip lat pull down. The big thing is to like extend kind of like all the way and then push it down. With this being the first exercise, I already did all my warm-up sets. Now I'm going to go straight into 50 pounds on this dual cable pulley. I know if you're doing like a single cable pulley, like a normal lat pull down, it's not 50 pounds, it's more closer to about like 110-ish. So just making sure you extend all the way and then push straight down.
All right, this is my pull day based on science and experience. First exercise is a close grip lat pull down. Here I'm getting my torso vertical for a big stretch at the top and then driving my elbows down to engage my lats. Anatomy tells us that the lats contribute heavily to biomechanical shoulder extension, which is exactly what we're doing with the close grip.
For the next exercise for this pull workout, we'll move on to a basic back row. I would do free weights or like the free weight kind of machine, like play loaded machine. But that's not available right now, no big deal. I'll just use the pin loaded machine. Doing 110 pounds, this is my first working set. But I usually don't do this. I would do like the free weight kind of back row. But the important thing is to flare your shoulders on this outwards.
Next, it's a chest-supported machine row. This is to target the mid-back like the rhomboids and the mid-traps. I'm keeping my elbows higher and more flared while squeezing my shoulder blades together at the top and then feeling them pull apart on the way down.
My mic cut out here, but what I'm trying to say for the close grip cable row here is that I don't usually use this kind of attachment, but that's what Jeff Nipard did in the video, so I wanted to get it as close as I can. But really on the bottom half of the rep range, you want to really like extend your lats all the way out and get that nice stretch.
After that, a close grip cable row. This will hit the lats again with biomechanical shoulder extension, but from a horizontal angle this time. Once I hit failure, I keep going with lengthened partials.
Moving on to rear delt flies, I usually use the machine for this, but in Jeff Nipard's video, he says to use these cables. So that's something I'm not usually used to. And he said to do lighter rate with higher reps, which is also something I'm not used to. However, I did like this a lot better than using the machine, so I might even consider doing this in my regular workout routine. But as I watch this back, that is a crazy back pump.
Then I hit some reverse cable flies for the rear delts. I'm using lightweight and higher reps to prevent my mid-traps from taking over.
Moving on to shoulder shrug, I'm definitely not in frame, so sorry about that. For Jeff Nipard's workout routine, he wants you to do 4 sets of this, and I remember crying about that because I usually do 3 sets and that already burns out my traps so much. So doing an additional 4th set, I remember it really fatigued my shoulders and they were sore for the next few days after that.
Then I do shrugs for the upper traps. The upper trap fibers run way more horizontally than people realize, so shrug up and in toward your ears.
So I just finished doing my 4th set of shoulder shrugs, and like I figured, that took a lot out of me. So I'm pretty exhausted, I'm pretty tired. I'm ready to be done with this workout. However, I still have 2 more exercises to do. First one being easy curls. Now this is another exercise that I have not done in a very, very long time. I think I started doing these when I just started lifting, but since then I don't really do this just because I don't like the like there's not a full range of motion where it puts pressure on your biceps. I can't think of the exact like word for it, but like I only feel it when it's at the top, like at the bottom right now. I don't really feel it. Even if I just did cables I would, but I only feel burn in my biceps when I'm at the top of the range.
For biceps, 2 exercises, an easy bar curl and a machine preacher curl.
Oh yay, more voiceover. So if I remember correctly, this workout took me also an hour and 50 minutes, which is about the same as the push workout. My 2 complaints with this workout was pretty minor. The first one being that 4 set of shoulder shrugs, like I said, that really fatigued my shoulders. And then I was mixing some kind of bicep exercise that would target the brachialis part of the bicep. Whether that would be hammer curls or doing reverse curls, something like that would have been really nice. Only 2 bicep exercises for this day was a little lacking in my personal opinion. However, that does kind of make sense if you're hitting it twice a week. For a pump rating, I'm going to give the back a 10 out of 10. All parts of my back were pumped up, including the lower lats. But for the biceps, I'll give it more like a 7 out of 10. My overall rating for this day would be a 9 out of 10 or an A-. Alright, this is day 3 of the workout split. Obviously, I'm doing legs today. So first exercise I'm going to be starting off with is these hamstring curls on the machine. Now what Jeff Nipard preaches with these is to put your seat all the way forward and to kind of lean forward. That way your hamstrings get more of a stretch. But I'm going to be doing 3 sets of this, and this also helps warm up my knees before I move on to my main squatting movement.
All right, this is my leg workout based on science and experience. Up first, the seated leg curl for the hamstrings. This gets my knees nice and warm for squats, and I usually pick seated over lying leg curls because this study showed they cause about 1.5 times more muscle growth.
Alright, moving on to the main squat exercise. He said you could do any sort of variation, whether it be like a pendulum squat, hack squat like I'm doing, a leg press, or a Smith machine squat. But just as long as you get like deep enough and you explode on the way up. So I chose to do hack squat just because that's what I usually do in my normal leg routine. And there's no point in trying to move on to a Smith machine knowing I won't be able to get as much weight. Anyways, I'm going to do a hack squat. I already did my warm-up sets. Trying to go for 8 reps at 2 plates on each side, so let's go for it.
Next, I do Smith machine squats for the quads and glutes. Here I get as deep as I can and explode out of the hole. Doing these on the Smith allows me to push my last set to failure without worrying about dumping the bar.
Yeah, got 8 reps for that last one. I definitely didn't go all the way down, but either way, I'm still happy with that. Anyways, once again, 2 more sets of this, anywhere between like the 5 to 10 rep range, then move on to the next exercise. Moving on to Romania deadlifts, I'm doing 3 sets of this, anywhere between the 5 to 10 rep range. I usually keep it around 8 just because that's where my grip starts to give up a little bit. But I have a 45 on each side with a 10 on each side and a 5 on each side. I've already done 2 sets of this because my recording keeps messing up, so this is the 3rd and final set that I'm doing this for. So I'm going to, again, try to get 8 reps. If I don't get 8 reps, then it's not the end of the world. But the main thing in this, you want to just push your hips back and focus on a stretch on the hamstrings.
After that, it's the Romanian deadlift for the glutes and hamstrings. Here, I focus on pushing my hips back without allowing my lower back to round. Using straps on these is smart. Your glutes and hams should be stronger than your grip.
Okay, I got 8 reps. It wasn't the prettiest, but at the end of the day, I got the 8 reps out. Moving on to leg extensions, this is obviously like a staple in everybody's leg splits, but this one I'm using a resistance band that kind of acts like a seatbelt a little bit, just to keep my legs in place.
Then I do leg extensions for the quads. Here I set the seat back to get a deep stretch in the rectus femoris. On my last set, I do myo reps beyond failure. Basically, rest for a few seconds, crank another 3 reps, and repeat.
Moving on to calf raises, my gym has this unique machine where basically just do this. It's kind of like the same thing, just like a different way of sitting down. I'm doing 3 plates on each side with a 25 on each side.
4 sets of standing calf raises.
Then I'm going to move on to abductors, but since there's people buy those machines, I'm not going to record anything, just trust I'm going to do it. So I just finished doing Jeff Nipard's leg workouts. Overall, I give it an A-. That was really, really solid. I do kind of maybe wish there was like 1 more set of calves, but that's just a personal thing because I want more calves. I do really like how he used a variety of different exercises and how you were more forgiving on the kind of squat activity that you wanted to do. Now for a pump rating, I'd give it an A. I mean, that's about the best you can get. It's a really solid like burn on all over my legs, the top, the bottom, the calves. Everything worked pretty well, and I do think it's a really good pump. And overall, I'm gonna give this leg day a solid A. So having just completed the workout routine, obviously it's a really good workout routine coming from Jeff Nipard. He's probably one of the most knowledgeable people when it comes to health and personal fitness. So if I only had 3 days and I knew like I wouldn't be able to do my full 5-day workout split, I would definitely default to it. Now my minor critiques, like for example the biceps only having 2 different exercises, that's solved when you hit this twice a week because it's 3 days on, 1 day off. So overall, again, it's a really good workout routine. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. I would definitely recommend you doing it, even if you're a beginner or if you've been lifting for 2 or 3 years, even more than that even. But overall, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for making it to the end of it. I know this was a much longer video than normal, so please let me know in the comments if you're still here. It does really mean the world to me if I see you do that. So see you when I see you again. Goodbye.